Hi, everybody. I would now like to call to order the October 16th meeting of the Downtown Design Review Board. Will the board and ex officio members please introduce themselves?
Matthew DeBard-Lapin, Downtown Knoxville Alliance.
Cameron Boland, AIA representative.
Lindsay Crockett, Knoxville, Knox County Planning.
Suzanne Taravella, neighborhood representative.
Jared Worsham, Downtown Resident Representative.
Laura Len, Downtown Resident Representative.
Tony Allen, Downtown Development Representative.
Chris Ford, Downtown Business Representative.
Christina McGrath-Stillery, City Law Department.
Mark Reel, Plans Review and Inspections.
Thank you. The minutes of the September 18th board meeting are provided in the packet. Are there any corrections or comments?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Lindsay, when you're ready, please give us the staff report.
There were no level 1 COAs issued since the last meeting.
All right. Then we will get started on our certificates of appropriateness. The first case is 111 East Jackson Avenue, and that is 10A24DT.
Okay, this is a new illuminated sign. It measures 4 feet wide by 2 feet 2 inches tall. It's 8.67 square feet. It has a black aluminum sign cabinet with white letters. The internal illumination is limited to those white letters. The proposed projecting sign meets the design guidelines as it measures below 9 square feet, meets the location recommendations. Internal illumination has been approved by the board when it's limited to push-through letters and logos instead of the entire sign background. So staff's recommending approval of 10A24DT as submitted.
Is the applicant present for this one?
I believe they are not.
Okay. Then we'll open it up for discussion. Do we have any comments? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve per staff recommendation.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up is 121 Union Avenue. That's case number 10B24DT.
Okay. It's a new signage package for a new construction mixed-use multifamily building. So there are 2 building name signs at the roof line. I'll go back. At the roof line on the east and west elevations, those are fronting James White Parkway and State Street. Those have raceway-mounted channel letters with internal LED illumination. There are also 4 tenant identification signs on the west elevation fronting State. They're located on the flat roof awnings above the entry doors towards the right side of the building. Overall, this building was approved by the DRB in July 2023, with one condition being that the signage review returned to the board for approval. The proposed signage is proportionate to the building on which it will be installed. It's compatible with the building's overall design. There are no guidelines related to internal illumination in the Boulevard District. And then revisions in terms of text, because these were submitted as placeholders saying tenant, those could be approved by staff during permitting. Per Article 2.3 of the city's zoning code, the sign code, wall signs may not project above the wall or the parapet. So this wall sign on State Street should be revised to be located below the parapet. Revisions could include a minor reduction in size or moving it lower on the wall. So staff is recommending approval of 10B24DT subject to the condition that the placement of that west elevation wall sign meet the requirements of the sign code with minor revisions related to that can be approved by staff.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is the applicant present? Okay, then we will open it up for discussion.
Who is not the applicant?
Sir, if you'll press the little button on there's a person. Yeah.
And please give us your name and address.
Right, so Buzz Goss, 300 State Street.
Great, thank you. Do you have anything to add to Lindsay's comments? No comments. Is there any board discussion or questions?
I just wanted to know, with the revision or the staff approval of the tenant signage, is that also allowing for variation in text, font, and style, and all of that? You know, like, is this just the size that we're approving today? Because if it's a tenant, like a company, they're going to want to have their own graphics package, and it's not going to be possibly that sans serif height and size and everything.
So when we review signage, we don't typically review font, text, script, stuff like the logo itself. We're looking at the placement, the amount of illumination, and the overall scale. So I think as long as the revised text fits within that sphere and kind of meets the design guidelines for overall square footage, I think that would be fine if the
Okay.
font changed.
Yeah. And then a question on the east and west elevation. The east, I guess that's the parapet, obviously where the Vintage Cal sign, it's higher, but does that not translate to the west elevation that would fix your issue with the letters standing above the parapet height? There's something where there's a bump up or something at the back on the east elevation. What's allowing the east elevation to have letters that are not going above the parapet? What is that? And that's not continuing to the west elevation?
You know, those are structural and architectural issues that we could get into in deep detail. But, you know, I think the staff recommendation is approved with adjustments to that, you know, height and you know, final not projecting above, right?
But that parapet is higher on that side, right? That's building design, it's not just signage on that.
Right, the parapet is structural, right? And it has to do with what's going on behind it.
Yeah, understood. I just want to know if it was taller. I'm just asking if it's taller, if that, like to Suzanne's comment, it's the parapet, not the signage that's on the east elevation, that's behind the letters.
That's correct. The parapet is taller on the east side than it is on the west side.
Okay.
Any other comments? Okay, let's entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve per staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up, we have infill housing design review. And first case there is 1117 Hiawassee Avenue, case number 10A24IH.
This is a new primary structure fronting Hiawassee Avenue. The house measures 24 feet wide by 42 feet deep. It'll be set 21 feet from the front property line. The house features an 8 feet deep front porch. It's full length, recessed under the primary roof line with an 8/12 pitch roof, an exterior clad in board and batten siding, and a concrete slab foundation. The facade is 3 bays wide. There are 2 windows on the left elevation and 3 bays on the right with 1 secondary door. So the house is proposed to be set 21 feet from the front property line. It is consistent with the block face. The average front setback of the block is 24.2 feet. The house is proportionate to the dimensions of the lot and the other houses on the block. The facade is similar in scale to other houses along the street. It is slightly more narrow, but it's only by 1 to 3 feet. It won't be disproportionate to the context. Drawings indicate a slab foundation. The house should feature an elevated foundation with a height compatible with the block. The house incorporates a 8 feet deep, full-length front porch, which meets the guidelines. Guidelines encourage porches to be similar to original ones on the block with roof lines that echo historic houses in the context. So incorporating a separate roof line for the porch instead of recessing the porch under the primary roof line would make that porch more compatible with the context. Guidelines also discourage board and batten siding and encourage a clapboard-like siding where the material is commonplace. So the staff recommendation is to approve 10A24IH subject to the conditions that The site plan meets city engineering standards, the foundation height be elevated to be compatible, the front porch design to be revised to feature a separate roof line with approval by staff, the siding incorporate horizontal lap siding, the site plan incorporate trees in the front and rear yards to meet the guidelines, and then if there's any new subdivision plat involved, that final site plan should reflect the placement approved by the board. And the applicant has already reviewed the staff report and submitted some revisions showing a rendering with a separate roof line and the structure having lap siding. So those are revisions submitted in response to the staff report already.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is the applicant present? Please give us your name and address.
Byron Maddox of 116 Properties.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to Lindsay's comments?
We've done the revision on the front porch. I'll note that it is about 9 feet narrower. It fits better. You're right, it does fit better. I just want to note that from ability to use the front porch, it's going to give about 6 feet or so on either side of the front porch for someone with a chair or something, whereas the other porch would give about half again as much room.
Thank you for that. Do you have any other concerns or issues with the other comments that Lindsay had?
No. We're good.
Okay. Thank you. Any board discussion or questions?
I appreciate the preemptive response to this meeting and the clarity of it.
Yeah, I mean, to your comment about the usability of the width, I think there's the potential, I mean, you've shown one version of the revision of the roof, but there's another potential that it breaks from the back roof and still has a wider presence that I feel like that whoever your architect or designer is that's working on it, if that's a program piece that you'd like to maintain is wider width, then that could still be achieved, I think, with an alternate roof line at the front. So, I mean, of course, that would still need to come back to staff for review and approval, but if that's something you're trying to achieve, I think your designer could work on that.
We'd probably either opt for what you're seeing there or the original, just because bringing the roof line up, it changes the height of the walls, and so it sort of has we'd have to sort of have a ripple effect.
I actually meant the front porch could just get wider, and that would just adjust the roof into a different way. There's multiple options
Right.
for it. I'm saying that whoever's working on it for you could think of that, but otherwise,
we're fine either way. I mean, it's not something I'm arguing. I just wanted to point out just the usability of the porch.
great.
But whichever way, the architect's ready to do a final on what's been presented here.
Okay. Any other comments? Does anyone have a motion?
I motion to approve per staff recommendation.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have 1219 New York Avenue, case number 10C24IH.
Okay, so this is a new primary structure fronting New York Avenue. It's a duplex. It will measure 35 feet 4 inches wide by 50 feet deep. It'll be set 22.8 feet from the front property line. The duplex has a side gable roof with a projecting double front gable massing and entry stoops on the outside bays of the facade. And it'll have an asphalt shingle roof, an exterior of lap siding, and then this concrete block foundation is approximately 3 feet tall. So some of the findings I'll run through. The applicant intends to use the middle housing standards, section 4.6 of the zoning code. That review occurs separately through planning staff, and the design guide, the DRB review focuses on how the project meets the infill housing guidelines. The building is proposed to be set within the average front setback of the block face. It'll maintain a consistent streetscape with the block. The guidelines for multi-unit housing recommend that new multifamily buildings be designed in scale and context with early architectural features of the neighborhood. The block that will receive new construction is characterized by one-story craftsman houses, modified Queen Anne cottages, and some infill construction. The house is proportionate to the dimensions of the lot in terms of width. It features consistent side setbacks. It doesn't incorporate many details which align with the context. There are also additional design elements that are required by the middle housing standards. The width of the duplex is compatible in facade width with original houses on the street. It meets the middle housing standards. The guidelines also recommend that the housing be similar in height to original houses on the street, while the two-story building is taller than most of the houses on the block. However, these designs include this 3 feet tall foundation, which is significantly taller than the context, and reducing the foundation height will allow a two-story duplex to be more aligned with the context. The side elevations are also large in scale with little architectural variation. It is within the maximum, so the middle housing standards have a maximum building width and depth, and this is right at that maximum for it, but it fits the middle housing standards for a duplex. The entry stoops aren't 8 feet deep per the guidelines, but similar entry stoops have been approved for multi-unit buildings in the infill housing overlay. They are relatively small in scale and would benefit from additional architectural detail to connect with historic houses in the neighborhood. At least a 6/12 roof pitch is approved by required by the middle housing standards. It's typically the minimum approved by infill housing, so the applicant should confirm the roof pitch. The large building may also benefit by some additional variation in roof line. Guidelines recommend that window and door styles be similar to historic houses on the block. There's sufficient transparency for the context, however, some revisions may be necessary to align the buildings with the context, including the irregular placement of the side elevation windows and the paired window on the second-story rightmost bay. The siding should feature a horizontal overlap similar to wood siding instead of Dutch lap or flush panels. And the CMU foundation should be reduced in height and clad in stucco or parge coated. So staff's recommending approval of 10C 24IH, subject to the site plan meeting city engineering standards, the incorporation of additional design elements to meet the middle housing standards, the reduction of the foundation height, and then revision to the facade and side elevation window placement with approval by staff, and then meeting all of the relevant standards of the middle housing.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is the applicant present?
Do you mind pushing that button?
It should be red. Yeah. The person.
The person?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, was on then, all right. Yeah, Steve Abbott, 1109 East Woodshire Drive, Knoxville, 37922.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to Lindsay's comments?
No, I guess about the reduction of that, do we have to come back through once we make the architectural changes to get approval?
Well, so that would be, that's kind of the purview of the board to decide. The way I had written that condition that you would just reduce the foundation height prior to the construction drawings for permitting, but we'll let the board conclude.
Decide that, okay. And then I guess once this is approved, we can still proceed with our plat approval?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
That, good, thank you.
Okay, let's open it up for discussion.
What was the reason for the elevated foundation, the 3 feet?
This was just a plan that we pulled together to get something on there for our plat approval. We understand that we may come through other revisions due to the middle housing guidelines. So I think it would look better to have probably a slab on there to reduce that.
Okay. I mean, it's stuff like that. Like it doesn't feel like a complete submission. Like from what you just said, it's not really what you're trying to build. It doesn't look finished. Like it doesn't, like the thought isn't finished, and duplexes are great. I'm glad that we're getting duplexes, but I think it needs to be a little bit better set of drawings to be able to convey what it is that you're trying to build for the project, because this looks just like the first pass as to an idea, like you said, to get something out, but it doesn't look like what it is you're trying to build. It's not finished. And there's not a level of care to to the design, to the context. It feels very placeless and faceless, and there's really no character. It kind of seems like it really won't help the context that it's in. It's going to only bring it down with the way it looks currently.
Okay. I'll let the owner speak to that, but it was our understanding this is just preliminary to get things started for our plat approval.
Well, so, and I'll offer something this might make you feel better. We can approve your plat administratively. The subdivision plat meets the design guidelines, and the subdivision plat can be provided administratively. But on the design review board side, however, the new construction, we encouraged you to pair the new construction with the plat, so it's all in one, so you don't have to pay another fee or make another application, so.
Okay, that's not what the planners came back. They said they would deny the plat and would not sign it
Well,
unless we
you
did
do
this.
need infill housing approval for your plat,
Okay.
but the staff can approve it. We
Okay.
can approve that administratively,
Okay,
yeah.
So-
We just can't approve new construction administratively,
I got you.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and I don't want to speak for Cameron, but the intent here is that we know what you're actually going to build, so we can make sure that it's compatible with the guidelines and with the context. So
Sure,
we'll
sure.
need updated drawings to show what you actually intend to build.
We'll get with the architect and make those modifications and changes and come back.
Okay,
All right.
sounds great. Thank you.
And again, I'll follow up with you after this meeting and we can touch base about the plat. But we can help the subdivision plat aspect of that move forward. Because those are able to be approved administratively.
Okay, so the infill housing, that's not today.
That's
in-
what this is. But this is both the new building and
And-
we'd put the plat in there just to save you an extra fee. But
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but
Perfect.
we could postpone this judgment and then therefore they would not pay an additional fee?
yes, for the new building, exactly.
We come back in 30 days or whenever the
Yeah.
next meeting. Okay.
Yep.
That'll be fine.
Is there any further discussion?
I would just recommend studying some of the context a little bit more, and it may actually be helpful to include some of the context in an elevation drawing to kind of prove your case to the board.
Gotcha.
And just generally speaking, the more detail that you can provide, the easier it is for us to visualize what's going to be there. So it's helpful to get everybody on the same page with the design.
That'll work.
Great.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we postpone 10C24 IH.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And I'll get with you tomorrow regarding the plat. We'll iron that out.
Okay, that's the end of our agenda. So we will adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Who just